For years, Jason Momoa and Lisa Bonet embodied the closest thing we had to Hollywood royalty, a couple whose deep connection seemed obvious in every public appearance, social media post, and red carpet moment. Their love story spanned decades, from Jason's childhood crush on Lisa to a whirlwind romance that led to marriage and 2 children. Fans believed their bond was unbreakable, but that fantasy came crashing down in early 2022 when Jason announced their split, to the shock of millions worldwide. Even then, the details behind their breakup were murky. Both Jason and Lisa spoke of seismic shifts and transformational times, leaving fans to wonder what really caused this once magical union to unravel. Over time, new allegations, rumors, and hidden resentments have come to light. And now, Lisa herself has stepped forward, ready to share the story she's kept to herself for so long. Her words are bound to turn everything you thought you knew about this Hollywood romance upside down. But before we dive into Lisa's revelations, here's a quick question. Do you believe a couple can truly recover from constant rumors and pressure in Hollywood? Or is this lifestyle just too tough on relationships? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below as we embark on this deep dive into one of Hollywood's most intriguing breakups. Jason Momoa was only 8 years old when he first laid eyes on Lisa Bonet, or more accurately, on Denise Huxtable, the character Lisa portrayed on The Cosby Show. Like so many kids of the late 80s, he found her charm irresistible. But Jason took his admiration one step further. According to multiple interviews, Jason told his own mother, "That one. I want that one." The moment Lisa appeared on screen, it was a childhood crush that would eventually turn into a real-life romance, though nobody, least of all Jason, could have predicted that back then. Years later, in 2005, fate orchestrated the unimaginable. Jason ran into Lisa at a Los Angeles jazz club. He was still an up-and-coming actor, navigating the labyrinth of Hollywood auditions and searching for his big break. She, already a household name, exuded an almost ethereal presence that Jason found hypnotizing. The two of them ended up talking for hours that evening, bonding over everything from music to spiritual beliefs. By the time the night ended, they were inseparable. It didn't take long for that spark to turn into something deeply genuine. Over the next couple of years, Jason and Lisa built a life that appeared grounded, intimate, and far removed from the superficialities often associated with Tinseltown. They moved in together, welcomed their daughter, Lola, in 2007, and their son, Nakoa Wolf, in 2008. To the outside world, this relationship was the stuff of romance novels. Jason, the adoring partner who'd manifested his childhood dream, and Lisa, the cool, grounded, and effortlessly chic star who seemed to have found her perfect match. By 2017, they made it official with a private wedding, sealing a bond that already felt unbreakable after more than a decade together. For a moment, everything seemed perfect, and that's precisely when the cracks began to show. Gradually at first, but ultimately too large to ignore. Life in Hollywood is rarely calm, and Jason's career skyrocketed around the time he was cast in major projects like Game of Thrones, and later, the DC film Aquaman. With each new role, his schedule became more packed. Months on location, promotional tours across continents, and non-stop interviews. Lisa, on the other hand, had already tasted fame at a young age. She knew its pitfalls and how quickly it could consume your life. She preferred a quieter existence, focused on their children and her personal passions. That difference in priorities tested their marriage in unexpected ways. While Jason thrived on set, forging new friendships and grabbing headlines everywhere he went, Lisa was often home alone with the kids. According to insiders, she was never resentful of his success, but the physical and emotional distance that came from Jason's long absences started feeling less like a sacrifice and more like an abandonment. Adding to the tension was the reality of Lisa's blended family. She shared a daughter, Zoe Kravitz, with her ex-husband Lenny Kravitz, and Lenny remained a strong presence in their daughter's life. Jason famously embraced Lenny in public, joking that he and Lenny were close friends. But behind that good-natured front, certain whispers suggested that Jason found it challenging, if not downright uncomfortable, that Lisa still had such a deep emotional connection to her past. For a while, the couple tried to hold it all together for the sake of the children. They presented a united front, posting sweet family photos on social media and attending red carpets arm in arm. But behind closed doors, the reality was much more complicated. Rumors trickled out, claiming they fought often about Jason's heavy workload and Lisa's preference for a slower pace of life. In early 2022, after months of rumors and speculation, Jason and Lisa officially announced their split. Fans who had been following their love story for over a decade were left stunned. The statement, posted to Jason's Instagram, spoke about seismic shifts and a family revolution unfolding, but it was vague and somewhat poetic. Gone were the usual celebrity cliches about irreconcilable differences, replaced by phrases that felt more cosmic and mysterious, very on-brand for Lisa's spiritual nature. Yet even as they made their breakup public, they remained determined to keep the real reasons private. They asked for understanding, for gentleness, and for their children's privacy. For a brief moment, the media portrayed them as the standard of amicability, a couple wise enough to realize they had grown apart, yet mature enough to handle it without animosity. Compared to so many messy Hollywood divorces, it seemed refreshingly dignified. But as we all know, public statements rarely tell the full story. A few months after the announcement, there were leaks and rumors suggesting they'd been living apart for much longer than anyone realized. Some sources claimed Lisa had tried to discuss marriage counseling, but Jason's schedule made it impossible to commit. Others said tension over finances and lifestyle choices had driven them apart. Still others insisted they had simply grown in different directions. Was it simply a natural end to a long relationship? Or was there a specific incident that ended their marriage for good? The more the public speculated, the less clarity we had, until Lisa began to share her side in an intimate, exclusive conversation far away from the tabloids. While most fans and onlookers believed Jason and Lisa were handling their split in a peaceful, drama-free manner, insiders started leaking hints that there was far more tension behind the scenes. For starters, their divorce proceedings, which took place in 2024, were reportedly not as smooth as the press made them out to be. Yes, they avoided the typical drawn-out legal battle over spousal support or child custody. Yes, they both vowed to prioritize their children's well-being, but the subdued public presence masked some intense emotions in private. Lisa allegedly felt Jason had let his career overshadow his responsibilities as a father and partner. Jason, in turn, felt blindsided by Lisa's demands for change, especially because, from his perspective, he was simply doing what was necessary to support their family. Friends claimed that, away from the cameras, he was frustrated, maybe even a little bitter, that Lisa wasn't more excited for his success in blockbuster films. Financially, they might have made a point to divide everything fairly and skip the usual Hollywood drama. But emotionally, there was a lingering bitterness that no settlement could fix. One source described their interactions as cordial but cold, saying that they only came together in person when it concerned their children's needs, doctor's appointments, parent-teacher conferences, and family celebrations. Yet it was important for both Jason and Lisa to maintain a certain public image. They wanted to protect their children from tabloid chaos, and they also didn't want to be the focus of endless negative headlines. So, on the surface, they acted as though everything was civil, maybe even friendly. In reality, they were navigating a minefield of raw emotions. As time went on, more questions emerged about the true catalyst for this split. If it wasn't a drawn-out legal war over assets, and if it wasn't just growing apart, then what else could have caused such a deep rupture? That's where rumors of infidelity came into play. As Jason spent more and more time away filming, rumors began swirling that he had struck up a close bond with a younger actress on set. Some fans dismissed this gossip as the typical tabloid nonsense that accompanies almost every attractive Hollywood star. After all, Jason and Lisa had always seemed rock solid, and there was never any direct evidence of wrongdoing. Still, the whispers were persistent enough that Lisa reportedly confronted Jason about them one evening. According to leaked accounts, he denied everything, but his reaction was so explosive, so outraged by the mere accusation, that Lisa felt suspicious. She didn't publicly accuse him of cheating, but she hinted to close friends that the trust she once had was slipping away fast. In her exclusive interview, one of the few times she's opened up about the divorce, Lisa shared that this argument, combined with years of feeling neglected, was the final nail in the coffin. She said she realized she could no longer keep pretending things would work out, especially if Jason couldn't see how his actions were affecting their marriage. The kids, the home, the memories, they all mattered, but so did her sense of self-worth. She felt she had been the one making sacrifices for too long. That final confrontation left Lisa convinced that she deserved a better, healthier environment. According to her, Jason's furious denial and the subsequent emotional distance between them showed how far apart they truly were. It was as if the person she'd once believed to be her soulmate had transformed into a stranger, one who valued his public image and career above their family's emotional stability. Once the divorce was finalized, Jason and Lisa appeared to embark on strikingly different journeys. Jason dove deeper into his career. He'd already gained international fame with Aquaman, and new opportunities just kept rolling in. He traveled more than ever, juggling starring roles in high-profile movies and TV series. Yet if you look at his social media posts from this period, something changed. Gone were the endless photos of him partying on set. In their place, you'd see quiet moments of reflection, pictures of sunsets, glimpses of him fishing or rock climbing, almost as if he too was seeking an internal reset. He also began quietly dating actress Adria Arjona. Friends described their relationship as low-key and peaceful, suggesting that perhaps Jason craved someone who understood the demands of the industry, but also valued privacy and serenity. Despite the ongoing rumors and the heartbreak of his divorce, Jason seemed to find stability in a new partner and a new outlook on life. Meanwhile, Lisa took a completely different approach. She stepped even further away from Hollywood, focusing on writing, photography, and her children. She rarely appeared at public events, even those involving her daughter Zoe Kravitz, who has become a star in her own right. Lisa preferred solitude and introspection. In interviews, she spoke vaguely about rediscovering herself, healing old wounds, and processing the emotional toll her marriage and divorce had taken. While it appeared she was finding a sense of peace in her creative pursuits, those who knew her best said she was still working through feelings of betrayal, regret, and disappointment. She didn't hate Jason, but there was a sense of sadness that the person she believed she would grow old with had, in her view, lost sight of their shared values. To complicate matters, the two still had to co-parent their children, Lola and Nakoa Wolf, which meant there would be no such thing as a clean break. School events, holidays, birthdays, these remained points of intersection where Jason and Lisa had to at least be civil, and for the most part they were. But every so often, insiders claimed tension would crackle through their interactions. Hurt feelings do not simply evaporate, even after the legal documents are signed. Until recently, the public had heard only bits and pieces, mostly second-hand accounts from supposed insiders. But in a rare, in-depth interview, Lisa finally poured out her heart about the painful end of her marriage. She started by confirming that the emotional distance was a huge factor. When Jason's schedule became so demanding that he was practically living on film sets, Lisa felt as though she was a single parent, holding down the fort at home with minimal support. She also admitted that Jason's ever-increasing fame put a strain on the marriage. She felt he became more concerned with Hollywood clout and less interested in maintaining the grounded spiritual lifestyle they'd shared for so long. Being in the public eye at that level, she said, changes a person, even if that change might start small and go unnoticed at first. But the most jaw-dropping part of her revelation was that she had felt genuinely alarmed by some of Jason's reactions when she tried to address their problems. In her words, "He was so different from the man I fell in love with. The moment I realized, that was the moment I knew we were done." She didn't offer explicit details about threats or anything of that nature, but her vague references to moments that truly scared me left listeners stunned. Could it have been a one-time blowout or a pattern of behavior kept hidden from the public? Lisa made it clear she wasn't accusing Jason of being a bad person. Instead, she described a marriage that had deteriorated under the weight of ambition, distance, and persistent arguments about loyalty and trust. She also stressed that she had no regrets about the years they spent together. Those were formative, beautiful times, but ultimately, she had to walk away for the sake of her own emotional health. What's your perspective? Do you think that when someone drastically changes, whether through fame, stress, or life transitions, it's possible for a marriage to survive that transformation? Or is it inevitable that one partner might want out if the other no longer resembles the person they fell in love with? Share your answer in the comments. Today, Jason Momoa continues to be an international superstar. He's cherished by fans for his laid-back persona, his environmental advocacy, and his fun-loving presence on set. He has a new relationship that appears steady, judging by the few public appearances and social media snippets we've seen. And from all outward indications, he's managed to balance his intense work schedule with a calmer, more introspective personal life, something that took years for him to cultivate. Lisa remains private and somewhat elusive. She's been spotted occasionally in Los Angeles, often looking relaxed and at ease, far from the red carpets she once graced with Jason. When asked about her ex-husband, she answers politely, praising him as a father, but offering little insight into their personal dynamic now. According to friends, she's truly in a place of acceptance. She's made peace with the fact that their story has ended, at least in its romantic form. Co-parenting is their new reality, and they're determined to do it as harmoniously as possible for the sake of their children. Despite the outward calm, tensions still arise whenever older rumors resurface about how quickly Jason moved on or how Lisa might be harboring resentments. Yet neither party seems interested in diving back into a public back and forth. Having already endured a wave of speculation and rumors, both Jason and Lisa appear committed to preserving the peace they've found, albeit on two separate paths. At the end of her interview, Lisa offered one last insight into why she chose this specific moment to break her silence. She said she needed closure. For years, she had felt overshadowed by public narratives that either painted Jason as the unstoppable superstar or framed her as the distant partner who couldn't keep up. She needed to articulate her own perspective, to say, "This is what really happened from my vantage point, and this is why I made the choices I did." In telling her story, Lisa also hoped to show that life post-divorce isn't necessarily a tragedy. She's found solace in personal creativity, writing and photography, rediscovering the version of herself that existed long before she married Jason or Lenny. She's refocused on her relationship with her children, cherishing their individual journeys into adulthood. And if you believe the sources close to her, she's happier now than she's been in a long time. She's come to terms with the idea that love can be real and transformative, but it can also evolve, sometimes leading two people in completely different directions. Accepting that reality and moving forward is painful, but it can also be a profound act of self-love and courage. So, what do we take away from the story of Jason Momoa and Lisa Bonet? At first glance, it looked like the perfect Hollywood romance. Two extraordinary individuals coming together to create a beautiful family. Yet behind the perfect photographs and heartfelt interviews, real-life challenges were steadily eroding the foundation of their relationship. Fame, distance, differing priorities, and lingering doubts created a perfect storm that neither of them could weather. Lisa's revelations have certainly shifted the narrative. It's no longer just an amicable split between two mature adults who grew apart. Instead, we see a more complex tale of ambition, fear, heartbreak, and ultimately self-discovery. Jason himself has been quieter about these personal details, preferring to focus on his new projects and new romance. But together, their stories highlight one of life's unchanging truths. No relationship, no matter how ideal it may look, can survive without consistent mutual effort, respect, and honesty. Now that you've heard Lisa's candid take and glimpsed how both parties navigated their new lives, what do you think truly caused the end of their marriage? Was it Hollywood's relentless pressure? Was it Jason's alleged emotional distance? Or the constant swirl of rumors? Could the marriage have been saved if they'd made different choices sooner? Or do you believe some relationships are meant to last only a season, no matter how passionately they begin? Do you side more with Lisa, who felt overlooked and unappreciated? Or do you understand Jason's drive to expand his career and seize every opportunity? There's no single right answer, and hearing your perspectives in the comments will add a whole new dimension to this conversation. For more of the latest news, check out this video.